the San Antonio City Council will soon be designating the community where we work as the Silk Road Cultural Heritage District, recognizing the cultural and artistic contributions of the African, Middle Eastern, and Asian community that live in San Antonio. I would say for our endowment in 2075, I don't think that far in advance usually, but um, I would say for similar that it would be great to support overhead expenses that we can't always charge to funders. For example, like directors and officers insurance, or other expenses that are, for example, staff appreciation, things that are not generally funded by our grants, but that are important for the ongoing operations of our organization and engagement of our staff.
Thank you so much, Nadia. Wonderful to see you. Thank you, Sheikh Rashid, for introducing yourself and changing the name. Um, who would like to go next?
I can go next. I'm Hasna Hamdan, representing Malaysian Islamic Foundation of North America. That's a mouthful, so we go by MIFNA, the acronym. And our mission is to connect Muslims of Malaysian heritage living in Southern California, to assist them in their social and cultural aspects pertaining to their Islamic faith. What we are most proud of is this organization has been around for 18 years, and it is totally self-funded or self-sustaining. We do not receive any funds or grants from governments or other organizations. So it is wholly supported by members, and not so much by membership fee, because we only charge a one-time membership fee, but by donations from members. And we are, alhamdulillah, in the black and have some extra money to finally create an endowment. I think we're one of the newest members of this endowment. We just started this year. Our hope that by 2075, this organization is still around and to do its function and mission, but it will be supported by endowment earnings. So we don't have to depend so much on donation, which can be, not the same every year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sister Hasna. An amazing history. Wow, 80 years, mashallah. May Allah give you many more years to come. Anyone next?
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Islam Abdullah. I am the executive director of the Muslim Network. The Muslim Network is a nonprofit in the great state of New Jersey. We're a 501c3 that helps build united New Jersey Muslim communities across all backgrounds. We host programs in to advance 5 work groups: racial, gender, generational, convert, and disability inclusion. So we do educational trainings, action-oriented workshops, and also social gatherings. We work with change makers who are active community members, influencers, leaders, organizers who seek and foster positive change in their communities. And ultimately, we hope to create inclusion and unity not just within a single community, but across all of the Garden State. So, alhamdulillah, we've been around since late 2015. Still small, I would say, but alhamdulillah, we're predominantly within the northern part of New Jersey, so Bergen, Passaic County, Hudson County. We've recently expanded to the rest of Jersey, since we are looking to since we are New Jersey based. within one of the things that I'm most proud about for the Muslim Network is the fact that we do bridge the gap in regards to finding needs within our, whether it's imams or Islamic school boards, of what they are looking for, and helping being a liaison, if you will, to other organizations, and helping them get the resources that they need in regards to whether it's trainings. We're planning on doing a mental health training sometime this month, inshallah. So via Instagram Live. So it's pretty amazing, alhamdulillah, what we do. In 2074, I hope to see, inshallah, that our endowment helps cover the cost of trainings for or bringing on board the resources that we need to train the lovely individuals that we have in New Jersey. And then hopefully we are able to create additional chapters throughout New Jersey, throughout the US. So not just having this organization within our state, possibly in other a large Muslim-based states, Michigan, Texas, Minnesota, inshallah. So, alhamdulillah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and hope to learn a lot, inshallah.
Thank you, Brother Islam. Anyone else who's able to share? I know I got a few messages that some people are able to only listen in, but is there anyone who can share and introduce themselves that hasn't? Please go ahead.
I can go ahead and chime in. My name is Safa Ibrahim. I am with Yalla Kafala Foundation, former member of American Muslim Community Foundation, by the way. So happy to be here in this forum, and excited that this council is being formed. The mission of Yalla Kafala is, Kafala, for those who are not familiar with the term, is the Islamic form of adoption to orphaned children. Our mission is to advocate, educate, and create resources for Kafala families and for the vulnerable children, of course. And two things we're really most proud of at this stage. We're 4 years, we're still quite a young organization. And I should mention our focus is mainly, or has started in offering the Kafala pathway to Egyptian Americans through Egypt, but we're broadening that, and alhamdulillah, this year we've opened our mission up to working with migrants and refugees, and we're most proud of our most recent program. We opened our first small home in August of this year, housing 6 beautiful girls aged 8 months to 2 years. And the objective is really the long-term objective, what we envision for our endowment by 2075 is to establish many more of these small homes. The small home model is basically an alternative care model offered to vulnerable children who are not or do not qualify for kafala or adoption. So usually the undesirable children that need more special care and special needs. And so the idea is to establish many small homes where it's a family-based environment, 6 to 10 children maximum, where they can thrive in dignity and in a healthy environment. And so our hope is to establish at least 10 homes by 2075, inshallah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Safa. And so wonderful to see you. Safa is a gem. And when she was at AMCF, she was one of my personal early mentors. So great that we are reconnecting in this capacity, Safa. And Mabruk for the home. That's beautiful. I remember talking to Rasha about it, when it was still in the works. So this is so great to hear.
Alhamdulillah.
Anyone else who's able to introduce themselves? And if I may get, who is S. Weaver, if you do not mind sharing what organization you're from, because not recognizing the email. S. Weaver, if you can come off mute, can you say what organization you're with, please? Okay. Just for everybody's safety, I'm going to take them out because I'm not sure who that is. All right, anyone else? Anyone else? All right, well, jazakumullah khair. I see Sheikh Tahir, who's also from Qaret, so thank you for joining in. And there may be one more introduction.
Did Sheikh Rashid already share what we do?
Yes,
Sorry?
yes, he did. Yes,
Alhamdulillah.
he did. I'm just recognizing that you're here. Thank you, Sheikh Tahir.
Barakallahu
Sister Seema, I think, just joined in from formerly Paris. So wonderful to see you. If you don't mind, we were just finishing up introductions. We'd love to hear your introduction.
Sorry, I'm a bit rushed. I just came from school. I'm in law school, so I'm doing my bar and LLM. That's what I'm doing now. But my nonprofit, I'm really excited. It's renamed it Manik and Saifi Foundation after my parents. They both passed away. But so my name is Seema Ahmed, and I used to focus on politics before, political activism, but I had issues, several attacks from different countries. So because I owned a political activism software, so I changed. I now focus on orphan support, sponsorship for orphan and abandoned children. It's really working well, and we have a small endowment fund that I'm really happy that I was able to start, and I'm teaching organizations around us to join Amcf, and I've been able to convince some. And 2075, I can't imagine. Uh, I can't imagine. I'm sorry, I didn't think about this, but I mean, my goal, I don't want to wait till 75 to achieve my goal is to bring it to $500,000. Next year, after I graduate, that would be my goal, to raise funds very quickly and because that brings stability to the organization. I can't imagine any nonprofit working without an endowment fund. Thanks.
I'd go ahead and may I? Sorry.
Ola, we can't hear you.
Oh, no, sorry. I thought you got cut off, Seema. Were you able to finish what you wanted to share?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful to have you. Thank you for making time amidst law school and the hecticness of exams, and may Allah uplift the memory of your parents. It's so beautiful that you renamed the organization in their honor. Anyone else? I see Al Huda Society joined. If I'm missing you, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Atullah.
Walaikum salam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, my name is Mohammed Lamalem. I am from Al Huda Society here in Chelsea, Boston, Massachusetts. We are a community center, mosque / weekend school. And we are like typical, mosque, Islamic center with all the activity that is being done in every cultural center, which is the prayer, the weekend school, the weekly halaqa, all that package. We served Muslim here around Boston, in the north of Boston, North Shore. We've been in business since 1998, 2000, so it's about 26 years now. And we started this endowment fund with the hope that it will help cover the operating expenses of our Islamic center. And just kind of now we rely on donation and the weekend school. But, we would like to grow, and we would like to open other venues for other sources for generating some funds to fund our activities and programs. Hopefully by before 2075 we can have substantial fund to be able to achieve our objective with that fund.
Jazakallah khair.
Can I just add something?
Yes, please go ahead.
So what I was impressed with, looking back at history, is one of the Sahabas had this sort of a operation, nonprofit operation that even today gives water for people from his garden, fruits, whatever. I mean, and I don't know what I don't understand how he had an investment, but that's still ongoing now. So many hundreds of years, if he could have done it, I don't know how he did it, but my vision is to have that, to have this endowment fund so big that it can sustain for whoever wants to donate till the end of times. This is what I project when I do raise funds. I encourage sadaqah, not zakat. Zakat we do distribute immediately, but sadaqah, I explain to them that whatever you put in here will be giving back even after you pass away. That's my fundraiser. And again, paying for operations is important, but also it's very stressful to raise funds like every year. This is just it's not ingrained in us to, it's not second nature to us. So, and for smaller nonprofits like us, where we have to, I have to go do the fundraising. I do it and I'm comfortable with public speaking, et cetera, but it's not something I enjoy. So, I really look forward to having a big endowment fund so I don't have to worry about the stress of, when people want funding, that I don't have funds to give. I don't like that. So endowment fund is very, very important, and not to wait till 75, but the next 1 or 2 years, and by end of next year, like 2025, I at least 100,000. Then following that, very soon, 500,000. It may take a couple of years, but that's my goal. Thanks.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Sister Seema. And inshallah, these are the exact things that we hope to be talking about in this space, things like sharing fundraising strategies. Everyone, before something, I'm not sure why, although we shouldn't have an issue with time. It's giving us something about, it's telling us that our meeting is going to cut off. If that does happen, if everyone could just hop back on, I didn't want to do the hop back on, and I thought we were good from the Zoom account, AMCF's account. But just in case we lose each other, just hop back on. So that's a note. And I wanted to point everyone's attention to the chat. Sister Atika from the Senate Foundation Trust has put in her introduction there. So I'm going to share it really quick because she's not able to speak. She's at a field trip with children right now. So she says, I'm the co-founder of Senate Trust Foundation. My husband and I co-founded Senate about 15 years ago. We are a grassroots Miami-based nonprofits. We have 3 spheres of work: Senate Education, K-12 micro school called Senate Prep, Senate Wellness, which is spiritual and social counseling service, guardians, elder care and support, And the third is Sanad Community, which is community workshops, dhikr gatherings, retreats, and so on. The mission is to preserve the innate good and serve the well-being of children, families, and elders. We established our endowment about 7 years ago. The 100-year vision is to have the endowment support operational funding, especially any shortfalls or gaps in funding or budget. We would like to explore a capital campaign strategy and how that could be integrated within the goals of the endowment. So thank you. That's from, again, Sister Atika from Senate Trust Foundation. And again, if we get cut off, we'll just hop back on. And I want to pass it to Sister Fatima from the Initiative on Islam and Medicine. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Mashallah, beautiful visions and missions. And Alhamdulillah, it's great to see that all of this grassroots work happening in this country. And may Allah put barakah in our missions and visions and keep us together and help us help each other. Having said that, I'm actually working with I work with two nonprofit organizations very dearly to me is the Initiative on Islam and Medicine. This particular organization's mission is to be the leading center for the studying how Islamic values and Muslim identity engage with contemporary healthcare and biomedicine. And our mission is actually, we look forward to instilling hikmah in healthcare through scholarship that draws insights from stakeholders such as clinicians, patients, chaplains, religious scholars, and policymakers. So that's one organization I work with, and there's another organization. I actually co-founded several different nonprofits. One of the one that I'm running right now is called Worry Free Community out here in the Greater Chicagoland area. And our mission is to bring that natural laws within the mainstream of our daily lives. And we've worked with 4 different programs, building competency through community health workers and providing free and charitable clinic services. We have 2 free clinics, and then we also have a health coverage program where we help people with the health coverage and counseling. So we see that in this particular healthcare in this country is very, very complex. And so everyone has only one door to get through, and nobody really tells them which door to go through. So we keep bumping our heads against the wrong door and keep getting wrong answers. So we help people navigate through the healthcare systems. So we're hoping that for both of these organizations, we put the endowment fund, and of course, 2075, I won't be here, inshallah, but the mission will sustain, and hopefully we have some stability in both of these organizations to sustain itself.
Thank you so much, Sister Fatima, and may Allah give you health and a long life as long as it's khair for you. Let's hop off because I'm getting the less than 1 minute and hop back on. I'm really apologize for the inconvenience. Okay, everyone. See you in a minute. Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourselves, and hopefully this is the first of many times that we'll get to talk about our separate organizations and missions. But we're trying to condense a lot in this first meeting just to get everyone oriented to the idea of this space we're trying to create. So I'm going to transition now into a really quick overview and introduction for anyone not familiar of AMCF very quickly, and then what this council is setting out to do or what we'd like to achieve. After that, inshallah, I will hand it over to our asset manager teams, the Andalus Capital and the Turner Financial Group. They're going to do a portal demo to show you the portal and how to navigate it and make the most use of it. And then there'll also be, Brother Oloy will also be sharing more about the philosophy approach that he takes in his investment firm. And then hopefully we'll have time for questions, but if not, we'll definitely make time next time, inshallah, to incorporate questions. So really quick, AMCF is a community foundation. And basically, this means that we are an institution that facilitates donor giving to impactful causes on one hand. On the other hand, uplift nonprofit organizations such as yours through things like grants, capacity building, and endowment building being, I think, under the umbrella of capacity building. Our vision is to lead sustainable and strategic Muslim philanthropy for today and future generations. And our mission is to cultivate donor giving and diversify funding to charitable causes. And some of our core values stated, which I'll loop back to the idea of values when we start talking about endowment building, because I think values, particularly when we're talking about Muslim endowment building, plays a very huge role. This is a snapshot of our leadership, and you're welcome to visit our website and get to know more of the people that have helped us historically, helped lead the organization and our current staff. This is a quick snapshot of our impact. So our main services are donor advised funds. We have over 200 of those. We host you, the 20 endowments, and we have funded organizations or nonprofits through $20 million, and we have 10 million under management. I want to give a shout out and a thanks to every single one of our endowments, those who are here on the call, those who couldn't make it. These are all the endowments that are hosted with AMCF. Again, this is a very humble and grassroots effort to get organizations to think long-term about their sustainability. And we ask Allah to put barakah in that effort and to help it grow into something truly sustainable that can cover the overhead and do all these wonderful grand things that people shared they'd like to see their endowments do. So like I said, the idea of this came a little over a year ago, of having kind of a community, a network for us to talk more. Up until this point, we're kind of been a list on a website, right? There's 20 endowments, you sign up with AMCF. We've been doing the back end of managing the endowment, but I feel like there hasn't really been space for connection and community to talk about what is my endowment, what is my vision for my endowment. Can we share experiences, challenges. So this is really what the space is meant to do. So I want to formally welcome you to this space. And I hope that by the end of the time we have here together, that you will be convinced that this is important enough that inshallah you can make every meeting. This is an optional thing, and we understand that people have very busy lives. We try to make it kind of on a a quarterly basis, just so it wouldn't be too heavy of a lift, but we're hoping that it's a value add to your conversations about endowments. So our main objective will be to create community, like we said, and provide expertise around values driven and values guided. I said I would loop back about values. And I struggled with, should I put values driven, values guided? And I really think both apply, right? Because we should be driven by our values to invest a certain way, to strategize for our institutions in a certain way. But then the guidance is like along the way in my mind, right? So it should be in the beginning, but it shouldn't be kind of something that we say in the beginning and then we kind of forget about it. It's something that actually takes consistent monitoring, right? Because the market changes, and this will be the Andalus's team and Turner Financial Group. This will be their space to talk about the technicalities of it, but the market changes, companies change. So there has to be constant monitoring of what aligns with our values and what doesn't. And that's why this is important to be a process and not just a one-time thing. Specifically, we hope to do this by, again, forming this network that we see here today between the endowments, yourselves, getting to know each other, strengthening the relationship or the communication between you as endowments and us as AMCF. Also strengthening, again, the connection between you as endowments and our asset manager, one of the main reasons that we have the Endos team and China Financial Group here from day one from our first meeting. So we make that connection happen. And then to deepen everyone's understanding here of endowment building through, inshallah, the great experts that we have access to, again, whether it's through our asset managers or we may be asking our investment committee members, some of whom are present here today, to come talk about certain topics. And the goal really in the end is to help not just educate, but to help you engage in this process of monitoring your endowment. Like I said, the structure, we're meeting quarterly, but I'll show you like a draft schedule of the next 4 meetings, and you'll notice they're a little bit less than quarterly. And that's just because we wanted to get a few meetings in to get this like off the runway. And then maybe we can go more consistently at quarterly. Also, we're trying to work around like Ramadan and summer travels. It just ends up being better. But hopefully we're not asking for like every month, which we heard feedback that that might be too difficult. And our meetings will fall kind of in one of 3 categories. It'll either be kind of open-ended discussion. So, I love how Sister Seema was sharing kind of just off the cuff, what she heard historically about Waqf and what she hopes. So kind of just sharing best practices amongst ourselves or what we've tried, challenges, successes. I think oftentimes there's untapped expertise just among, group members. You come from a very diverse group of organizations, and you share a lot of overlap, right? There's a lot of Islamic schools, if you notice. There's some unique ones, but there's a lot of messages, a lot of Islamic schools, so you may face similar things and can share your experiences. Then if it's not that, then it will be formal presentations by, again, our asset management team. They've kindly offered to perhaps do like a market update as a short segment in each of our meetings, so that you could just, be up to date about general market trends. And then, like we said, it could also include presentations or discussions from investment committee members or outside experts even. So, and we'll kind of open the this to you. It'll be part of the follow-up questions to give us ideas. We have like a draft of ideas that our team has come up with, but we'd like to hear if there are specific endowment related topics you'd like to hear about. I'm not going to dwell too much on this because it repeats a lot on the objectives, but I want to really point out that one of the most important outcomes I hope comes out of this group is the second bullet, right? To empower you as endowment holders to grow your endowments and to help. Now you have the guidance of the Andalus team, inshallah, and Amcf and the Turner Financial Group. So what I mean here is not that you're managing, but that you are involved and engaged in what's happening with your portfolio. That's super important. But you have to feel empowered to do that. You have to feel like you have the education or the tools or the information at your disposal to be able to engage in that conversation. So that's what this council is meant to provide. So then you could reach out to Brother Hori one-on-one and say, from this council meeting last time, I want to have a conversation one-on-one about my endowment and talk about XYZ. The other thing, or the other outcome I really want to stress on here is the second to last, which is, again, from amongst ourselves and with the expertise that we have, inshallah, the goal will be to find potential solutions to shared challenges and share successes. So again, you may be like struggling, you may be like, well, I never really think about my endowment. I started it and I put it on the side. And think that you're the only one struggling with that. And realize by talking to other group members, well, everybody else is in the same boat, or there's many others. So what are they doing to help balance, for example, endowment fundraising with operational fundraising? So questions like that. And if there is space for collaboration, hopefully this is a space to make that connection happen. The benefits, I hope that those are clear by this point, but I'm trying really hard to convince you that this should be the first of many meetings that you should join. This is, of course, optional. This council is optional. Again, we understand people are stressed for time, but we think there's great benefit if we can all commit to consistently coming together for this conversation. So you have access to this space and these conversations and meeting these other organizations. That's the number one benefit. Also open to you as a hosted endowment is, again, the generosity of Brother Huri. He has offered, along with the Turner Financial Group, to meet one-on-one with you as an endowment holder and discuss any specific endowment needs that you might have for your organization. So just to note, like, this space will be for more general conversations, but if you have very specific questions about your endowment, he's happy to connect one-on-one and make that conversation happen. Last thing, just a few ground rules. I don't, this doesn't need to be said, but always good to be explicitly said. Like I said, our intention here is to gain knowledge as a group, to really try to attain excellence in building our endowments, right? Just like we seek excellence in what we do with our organizations or anything else in our life. We, as AMCF, as the facilitators, commit to ensuring a respectful tone at all times. And we all, hopefully, as a group, commit to making this just a positive space, a supportive space. And the last note is confidentiality that I want to cover really quick, again, because this group is talking about endowment buildings and kind of some information about your specific organizations may come out in the conversations. We kind of laid out these as proposed rules that if you're sharing information about your endowment or your organization, or if our asset managers are talking about specifics of their strategy or their approach, we're going to consider that by default confidential and just kept to this group. But if, Brother Maureen is coming in and he's talking about risk assessment for your portfolio very generally, and it's more kind of like a community education presentation, we're going to consider that not confidential, again, unless explicitly stated otherwise. And then from everyone's end, as you're sharing, just, let's put our own filter to help the group. So share what you're comfortable with and what you feel does not break your organization's confidentiality and fiduciary duties. And just to simplify it, all will err on the side of confidentiality. If there's something you feel really strongly that would be valuable to go back and share with your board, go back share with outside this group, then just ask, inshallah. And I feel like in 90% of the time, there are ways to share certain examples or stories while keeping confidentiality if you keep it general enough. As I mentioned before, this is kind of the draft timeline for the next 4 meetings, and they land on, I want to say, the second Thursday of every month. Time window being a little later than this one. We had adjusted this one to accommodate for the Andalos team, so a little bit later. We're gonna confirm this with the group, but wanted to give an idea of the dates and the times. And we're not going to go through these questions one by one now because I want to give Brother Huri a chance when we're running late. But I wanted to just put them in front of you and let you know that I'm going to be following up. And in our follow-up, we're going to ask you these questions. If you want to add anything to the ground rules, like I said, what topics you want to hear about, and some logistical things like communication for the group. So just be on the lookout for that if you're interested in continuing to engage with the group. Other than that, thank you so much for being here and for taking part in this first conversation. I'm going to turn it now to Brother Hori. You know where how to contact us for sure. I'm going to turn it to Brother Fahman and Brother Hori to and the Turner Financial Group to do the portal demo and presentation.
All right. Thank you, Sister Ola. Fayman,
Yes, sir.
you want
I'm
to
gonna.
bring the slide up?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. Can everybody see it?
Yeah. First of all, team, thank you very much for selecting Andalus Capital and Turner Financial Group to take care of your endowments. We are so excited and we are so honored. And what I learned through your bios, short bios and introduction, what each endowment is adding value to the humanity. I'm speechless. I'm very emotional also, what you're doing it, particularly in the areas of helping society, helping community, helping orphans, helping our kids after the school program or learning Islamic teaching after school program. We don't do anything here in our side of the business. What we try to do is add our services, add our values to your initiatives. I'm so honored to help and work with your team. I'm so emotional also at this time to hearing everybody's stories, how you guys are adding value to the humanity and the society at large. My name is Mohammed Gori, and this is me. I came from India. I live right now here in a place called Syosset, Long Island, and my office is in Jericho, New York. I did work for 4 or 5 large companies in America. 3 of them were the federal contractors, particularly Tower Air, Atlas Air, and Verizon. Then I thought this is the time I have to leave the business, corporate America, start my own investment advisory business. So I started this business back in 2013. And with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the help of God, I met my dear friend, Andrew. So we become friends many, many years ago. He is our CIO. He is our economist. With the help of God and with the help of Andrew Tang's expertise, our companies keep growing. Currently, we manage around 35 endowments in the nation. And we exited 5 or 6 endowments from past 2 years because of the compliance reason, because of they're not so proactive in their own business. So we don't want to have headaches on our side. So we exited them. So this is our side of the story. I did go to schools in America, here in New York, a couple of schools. I did my master's and MBA from state of New York here. And it's a family-owned business. My wife, she is an accountant, and myself. And my younger son also helps me by screening the securities. He's second year in college. And now what we will be talking today is very, very generic. What Sister Ola just now explained about confidentiality. So what we call is disclosures. Purpose of this meeting is just to have an introduction and learning from each other. Whatever myself and my partner, in this case, Fayman and Andrew Tang and Scott, what they say is just for educational purpose. We are not here to give advice at this meeting. We're not recommending, we're not suggesting. This is purely an education seminar we have. I have to disclose that I serve at NYU, the School of Engineering, as an international board of director also. In my role, I have New York campus, Abu Dhabi campus, and Shanghai. This is the full disclosure. Now, what we do and how we manage money purely is the value proposition, what Sister Ola was talking about philosophy. What is our philosophy? What is our value? What we do is we don't invest in sin companies or sin stocks, put it this way. So we never ever use the word Sharia anywhere. What we use, because of the political landscape, we use the word ethical and socially responsible investing, or sometimes we use ethical and impact investing, where we have three ways of screening the securities in stocks. One is business screening. We don't invest in alcohol, tobacco, human cloning, arm manufacturing companies, the financial sector, food, which is non-permissible food, we don't invest, gambling, gold hedging, all kind of sin companies, we don't invest. That is the business screening. Second is screening in financial ratios. Oh, we don't invest in, we don't invest in collectibles, life insurances. We don't invest in speculative option strategies, margin accounts, short sales. I don't want to drive you crazy with these terms. This is purely financial terminology. If anybody want to learn more, you can call me. I can walk you through. And the next one is financial ratios. We don't invest in any company has more than 30% debts. Because when I call about myself as a I'm using the word, we use a Sharia compliant approach through IOF standards. IOF stand for Accounting Auditing Organization for Islamic Organizations. They are based in Bahrain. 50 is a not-for-profit organization. They put together the compliance, auditing, accounting process, and they put together the standards, what to do, what not to do. This organization is not only for the investment side of the business. A lot of central banks also use their rules. And what else we do is, one is business screening, financial screening through IOF standards. Still, you will find some kind of a non-permissible income in your portfolios. Every year, we create and we calculate the purification report and we send it to our endowments. And our endowments are smaller to very, very large endowments. And some of the endowments are non-Muslim endowments. At the end of the day, what they want to see from us is a performance and personalized service. So how we screen the security, how this company is halal or haram, or Sharia compliant, non-Sharia compliant, ethical, ESG, whatever terminology you use, we subscribe to a gold standard software called Ideal Ratings, #1 in the world. And they keep track of every single company in a real-time basis. So what I want to hand off my presentation to Fahman. Fahman is going to show you how he screened the securities. Not him, he has other couple of people, interns, they help him. So he's going to walk you through about how we find halal securities on a quarterly basis. Fahman, please go ahead.
Sure. Thank you very much. Like Brother already mentioned, I help him with the screening and also generating annual purification reports. I've been associated with Andalus Capital for the past 3 years, alhamdulillah. So this is just the Ideal Ratings website. And just, Brother already mentioned, Ideal Ratings has essentially digitized the IOF rulebook. They have been around for a long time, and they are the de facto gold standard in the Sharia compliance space. These days, obviously, there are several other platforms that provide similar capabilities, but Ideal Ratings is obviously #1. They have a lot of leading financial institutions, as you can see on the screen. Can you guys see this? Oh, I'm sorry, I may not be sharing the screen right now. Let me start sharing my screen. Can you see my screen now? Okay, okay, great.
We can see
The Ideal Ratings
website.
Yep. So this is their website, and what I'm trying to show you here is all their clients, their partner companies who rely on Ideal Ratings to conduct their Sharia compliance screening. So as you can see, some of the really large investment banking companies, really large companies, we are very familiar with some of these names: LaSalle, Franklin Templeton, Q Invest. This is the Qatar Investing Foundation, and then, and all of these Jadwa. So these are all like really big companies. They're all relying on Ideal Ratings. And of course, this is why we have also chosen to leverage their platform to assist us in our Sharia compliance screening process. So now I'm going to walk you through their portal. This is what their portal looks like. And I'm actually gonna show you how we do this and how their portal works. I'm gonna enter a company. Let's say we wanna see how Apple is doing, if whether or not it passes the business and financial screens that IOFI has established, right? So we go ahead and then I type in Apple. It takes the time to load because this is a really large database. This is updated, constantly updated by the hardworking folks at Ideal Ratings. So I'll give it a second here. And then essentially, let's see. Yeah, it does take some time to load. I'm gonna try and hit enter again. And essentially what this will show you is they will show you whether or not the company is compliant based on the IOFI rulebook. Oh, it just reloaded. Let me try again. And then they also provide a purification amount per 1,000 stocks for each quarter. Like Brother Hori mentioned, every stock or security, even if it is halal, even if it passes the business and financial screens, it will still have a small amount of impermissible income. So and what we need to do is we need to generate a purification report for you guys, for all of our clients. And oh yeah, there you go. We have Apple here. As you can see, the company's compliance status right now is passed. That means this company has passed, as per the IOFI rulebook, the business screens. That is, there is, the non-permissible income does not exceed 5%. That's a check. The interest-bearing investments do not exceed 30%. That's a check. That's a pass, and that's a pass. So these are all the screens that Ideal Ratings, and then they provide us with the compliance status, and it says this is pass. And like we mentioned, they also provide a purification amount per $1,000, right? So if somebody owned per 1,000 stocks, I'm sorry. So if a portfolio had 1,000 stocks, they would have to pay or donate $380 to purify the non-permissible portion of their income. And of course, we are here to assist you with that. You don't have to worry about running the numbers. We will do all of that quant on our side based on the amount of securities your account had in each quarter. So as you can see down below, the purification amount is based on each quarter. So what Ideal Ratings does is they're reviewing the company's financials every quarter, and they're coming up with the percentage of impermissible income. And then that is what is here. The purification amount is based off of that. So we're here to take care of all of that, and then we will generate an annualized purification report. And this whole process of screening the securities, passing them, checking them through Ideal Ratings, and then the annual purification, we do this for every company within the portfolios every 3 months, right? So we screen companies every 3 months. Every quarter, we screen these companies, and all the companies that pass these screens, we then work with Andrew Tang and his team to customize and create those portfolios, those Sharia compliant portfolios. And this is done, like I said, every 3 months. And then on an annual basis, we will generate those purification reports that we just talked about. So yeah, I think that's more or less what I really wanted to talk about. I think I will pass it on to Andrew and his team to take it over from here. Does that sound good? And unless anybody else has any questions.
No, thank you, Fayman. This is the first step Fayman and company, his team do. They do the screening. Then myself and Andrew, we sit together based on a very specific tool, the risk profile of the client and the market condition of the world where we have to invest. Then we leverage Andrew's expertise based on the current market conditions and geopolitical risk considering, and we create the portfolios. And Fayman, can you show our process chart? I don't want to go into the detail. It's a very, very tedious process we have. It takes like 2 to 3 weeks to complete the portfolios and put it on our trading platform for trades. So this is the process. It's a very, very tedious and lengthy process. And we back and forth communicate with our clients also, in this case, endowments, why we are doing it. And we take the feedback from them also to rebalance the portfolios.
Um, so yeah, I guess that's it, Brother Corey. That's the things that we had on our agenda, and then I guess Andrew Tang and his team will take it from here and also show them the portal. I think it was the Orion portal or something that people are here interested to see, and the other aspects of what we're here to talk about. Thank you
Great.
very much.
Thank you so much, Brother Glory and Brother Fahman, for that excellent overview and that example of how you do the screenings. I apologize sincerely, guys, but we're gonna have to do it one more time and to hop out and hop back on because we're getting that 10 minutes again. And I want to do it now so it doesn't cut off in the middle of Andrew's portal demo. So we'll hop back on, and the demo is the last thing we have on the agenda. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
I am very blessed to be given this mission, the task, to be able to utilize what I have learned over the decades into turning into something meaningful and something useful for the endowments to use and to create value in humanity. This is something that I don't take lightly, and I'm just really happy that we're actually using what we have, our resources, into something good. So with that said, the market and the economy, it's very dynamic. Nothing stays still for too long. Even the presidential election is only for 4 years, right? Every 4 years, everything changes. And so the landscape in terms of investments are dictated by a few variables: interest rates, money flow, money supply, and so on and so forth. And with the ever-changing landscape, we always take what's called a top-down approach, meaning we don't need to invest in everything. We absolutely do not need to do that. What we do is that we handpick a few asset classes and style and to see and understand and, oh, this is the area that we believe is going to be opportunistic. And then certain areas that we don't feel that it's going to grow much, we will underweight those areas and sometimes completely eliminate them. And by doing that, we have experience and learn from our mistakes and see that, oh, wow, we really have the ability to increase the returns above what the market can actually give us. And also we help avoid these potholes, right? That sometimes life gives us. And so with that approach, we combine that with the filtering, with Ideals Rating, and also the good operations work with Mohammed and Vaman and Fonman, and I couldn't even ask for a better team and better partner. And so I see this as a sustainable relationship, and we feel very confident that we will be able to do a good job, excellent job going forward for many, many, years to come. I'm nowhere near retirement, even though a lot of gray hairs are growing, but I also feel equally excited and passionate about what I do. And so there's going to be, many, many good years ahead of us from what I view. So with that said, I will definitely have a chance to answer a lot of the questions that you may have. But before we do that, I would like to introduce my Chief Operating Officer, Scott Clausen. And Scott comes from Orion, which is a mega data aggregator in the financial and investment landscape. We're so blessed to have him join our team. And he is just a genius in terms of managerial information system, technology, and how to translate all that into usable tasks. And so without further ado, Scott Clausen, take it over and show on how to do the portal demo. And I'm going to mute myself.
Thank you, Andrew. Because yeah, as soon as I unmuted myself, we started getting some feedback. Andrew and I are actually kind of in the same office space right now, which we're not normally, but anyway, thank you very much, Andrew. And with that, what I'm going to do is just walk through see here, make sure I can share my screen. Yes. So walk through kind of what our portal looks like and what is the information that you would see for your particular endowment and the investments that are there. So bear with me a little bit here. This is a demo client. Obviously, I've got Mr. James Bond. And the other thing I want to point out is that the portal will be branded with AMCF's logo here as well. So when you log into this, you'd see the AMCF logo, not necessarily Turner Financial Group. But what we've tried to do here is put together a portal that really gives you a good insight into what is happening with your investments, but yet is simple and easy to read. So when you come in to the portal, the first screen that you are presented with here is going to just kind of be the summary, which is going to give you, hey, here's your current value, here's the year-to-date performance return. And you do have the ability, if you need to see something, hey, I need to see something a little bit more than year to date. And, sometimes that will come into play, especially like early in the year. You maybe, hey, I want to see more than just 1 month's worth of a return. I need to see something more. You do have the ability of coming up here and say, hey, let me stretch this out to a 3-year period. So if I stretch that out to a 3-year period, it takes a little bit of time, reloads, and shows you that information. So if you're ever questioning, oh, hey, what time period am I looking at? It's hey, pay attention to this upper right-hand corner. It will kind of tell you that. But so gives you current value, year-to-date return. Here's some general activity summary information. Where'd you start with? Where'd you end with? End at during the year. If there are other major kind of activity summary categories, such as contributions or distributions, that information would show up here as well. And then this also shows you a little bit of a chart here that is comparing the net amount invested and then the current portfolio value. As I slide down the screen, it's going to give me a little bit of more of a breakdown of kind of the broad asset categories, and then even the asset classifications that are currently being used within the investments in your portfolio. Excuse me here. As I move across the top, so I've got summary, I'll just performance, positions, transactions. It kind of starts general and gradually moves a little bit more granular or specific. But this page is going to be very similar to the summary page in that it does give some performance information. I've got this the summary, again, very similar with what did you start with, what did you end with, and what are the major I'll say transaction categories that have occurred during the time period being measured. Got a performance chart. If I want to look specifically into the account and hey, what are the holdings? Let's see, this one's a better one. What are the specific holdings that are being held currently? And then even a little bit, some additional information there. So that's on the performance. Again, I can drop down to even some more specific information with regards to the positions that are held inside of the account. Again, it's going to break this down by here are the different either the account or accounts that are inside of the portfolio. Again, just hit the little arrow button and it's going to break down some additional details for you, showing me the current market value, units price, what's the cost basis, and then even are there any unrealized gains or losses in those assets. As I move down the line here, it also breaks out by transactions. This is a demo account. Let me expand this a little bit more. Okay, so like here's all of the transactions in the account. If I need to, it's like, hey, I really need to see, hey, what did we do with Apple? All I need to do is in this search, just start typing in the word Apple. And it's going to filter that out. Now, obviously, there's one transaction here. When I see applied materials, if I just type in applied, okay, now I can see, hey, here's all of my transactions for applied materials. Also shows me realized gain loss information, which realized is going to be more of the kind of the realized gains or losses that make up any taxable gains that may be in the time period that's being measured. Typically, I would not want to go back to since inception there. I probably would just want to go back to, hey, a year-to-date scenario. I think, again, demo account, don't really have any transactions so far this year, but yeah, I think you kind of get the idea of what this shows. Go back to summary. You'll also notice here, so this is so the managed, this information is just showing you the managed assets information. So here's what Turner Financial, these are the assets we're managing. If you want to, or there's need for it, you do have the ability to potentially add in other accounts. And it could be any account that you maybe would want to, hey, let me at least see a current valuation of some of those other assets. These assets that I have here they were strictly manually entered. So I have the ability to come out and, okay, hey, I know I had, at the time I entered it, I had 50,000 in cash. Okay, let's see if I update this quarterly, and let's say now I have 75,000. Okay, just helps give you an idea of those values. That's a manually added account. You do have the ability here too of coming out and let's say you have something at just pretty much any other financial institution. But if this allows you to actually just do as a guest, say I've got something at Bank of America or American Express, Chase, let's say it's Fidelity Investments. You have the ability to come out here. What you would do here is you can add your credentials to log into that account, and it is going to go out and pull back at least a current value of that investment. Nobody on this side of things sees any of those credentials. I have absolutely no way of obtaining that if there's any concern there. But it's a feature there that is available. So yeah, like I said, we try to keep it pretty simple in what we're showing, but yet also give you the ability to drill down and see details. So that's kind of it for the demo. So Andrew, I will stop the sharing and turn it back over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I also want to touch on several topics. For one, I think Brother Muhammad had mentioned that before, is that we will have quarterly client calls. So the quarterly client meetings will be conducted virtually. Thank goodness we have Zoom. It really enables the world to be connected, even we're not physically, near one another. And the session will also serve as an opportunity to discuss the account performance, the market trends, and also any questions and concerns that you may have. And also, in alignment with our family office style approach, we also offer one-on-one consultation for clients for larger accounts, for example. They will include personal discussions that are tailored to address the unique needs and also financial goals of the endowment. And that will foster deeper relationships and create more customizations as needed. And then also specialize and custom review. We also offer that as well. So any customization and tailored needs for specific endowments, we will be more than happy to provide that within our ability and capacity for sure. And with that, I want to just quickly, let me see if I can share my screen here, because I want to just give the audience here, since we're together, and let me just quickly share the screen. Perfect. Okay. So I wanted to see if you can see the spreadsheet here. Okay.
Yes, we see it.
Yes.
Yeah. So as you know, we don't invest in fixed income, but we do invest in sukuk type of investments, and that is going to be in what we call low beta. And the investment styles are basically divided into two buckets or two silos. One is low beta, the conservative components of it. And then the other is equities, which is generally invested into the stock market. So from this, you will see that we have used Schwab as our custodian. And the two strategies that we do have is moderate growth and also growth. And what that means is that for moderate growth, we have 70% in stocks and 30% in low beta. And for growth portfolio, we have 90% in equities and 10% into low beta. And then each of these allocations, they also contain what we call a tactical allocation, is that whenever we feel super conviction and really like a certain particular company that have passed the filtering system, we may use anywhere from 15, for example, to 16.5% into this tactical allocation for moderate growth. And then that allocation can grow up to 20%, for that matter, into that allocation. And through this practice, we found that we're not just going to get mediocre results. We're actually going to get return above the market. Again, this is moderate growth and growth. There are active investing. And for anyone who is interested to receive more information on this, we'll be more than happy to provide that. So next, I want to give you a snapshot. What exactly are the companies? So I'll scroll through you. So yeah, we really try to stay away from using ETFs and funds. We do the best ability that we can for smaller dollar amounts, especially. We will do our best to accommodate. But you will see that we directly invest in companies. And some of those performance numbers that I've been asked to provide, and you'll see that, so low beta equity, these are the allocation breakdowns. And these are the actual returns of the particular model and how they have done. So year to date, you can see moderate growth. I mean, we're living in extraordinary times right now. So these are the returns that we have been seeing, right? 1 year look back, 3 year look back, 5 year look back. And Sharpe ratio just measures the level of efficiency of the portfolio. So the higher the Sharpe ratio, the better it is, the more efficient the portfolios are. And these are the numbers that's as of December 2nd. So I will stop here and I'll be able to provide this for those who request them. And I will hand the microphone back to Ola.
Thank you so much, Andrew and Scott. Incredibly valuable information, and I think perfect for the high level of an introductory meeting, although you were getting us in the weeds there, Andrew, in the end. But really, really appreciative of the information.
Just a little bit. I didn't want to.
Just a little bit. Just giving us a taste of just the intellectual level we have to engage in to come. No, this is great. This is amazing, and really appreciate what you shared. We might have like a minute or two for some questions. If I can put out a question to Scott, if you don't mind, and I see Nadia's hand. With the portal, since we're coming up to quarter's end, can you show us how an organization can pull a quarterly or end of year report?
Yes.
And Nadia will have priority for the next question.
All right, so yes, within the portal, so there is the option here of reports. And these portfolio reports here these are reports that can be run on an ad hoc basis. Now, and I know we've got at least one report that we are customizing to put out here specifically for AMCF, but nevertheless, these would be the portfolio performance reports. This is where you would find that.
Excellent, and that's customizable by like year, quarter. You can set the range, the date range.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Nadia and then Seema, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for this really informative for overview. I have a bunch of questions. I'm not going to get into the more of the investment philosophy because we don't have time. I'm mostly going to ask questions as we prepare for year end and making sure that my accounting team and my CPA have the information that they need. So like I'll ask a few kind of related questions. Are we going to get a 1099-B and 1099-DIV that we can give to our accounting firm so that we can mark the realized gains and the dividends, which we have to report separately and differently to the IRS from unrealized gains? And then also the IRS 990 requires us to report investment management fees, unlike GAAP rules, which nets investment management fees, but the IRS requires it separated out. So how can we get the investment management fees? And then also, when are we going to get the information about purification? I'm mostly concerned about, are we responsible for purifying, or is that going to happen? And if we're responsible, then I'm going to need to make sure that we accrue for it before we close our books.
Yeah, I will take the last question, purification question. Annually, you will get the purification number, and we don't get involved to purify. You give it to your favorite charity. So let us say number 1, 2, 3, AMCF is going to give you that number, whatever the number is come to you, I think beginning of the year. So you purify yourself. We don't get involved. You get the number only. And as long as 990s and 1099s and all, Sister Ola, AMCF is going to distribute, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna, if you don't mind, Nadia, we can take that question offline just because I would have to go back to the team because this year in particular is gonna be a little bit different because we had the transition to Endelos. So, you know, portion of it will be still linked to our previous asset manager, and then a portion will be with Endelos. So I'll loop back with you offline on that question if you don't mind.
And
Okay.
really quickly, I think that since the assets are owned by AMCF, your reporting will not have to disclose anything outside of that, but AMCF will be reporting to the IRS about all of these investments that we have. But you have sub-accounts and access to the values that you've invested with AMCF. And if you were to receive ROI, that would just be seen as income coming to you from AMCF.
I think maybe we need another meeting about this because I've been working with our CPA firm and they're finishing up our 2023 compilation, and we have a whole section in the notes about our endowment and like related to FASB guidelines about how we have to report the endowment and just a lot of stuff. So I think I'd like to have a separate meeting to make sure that we're accounting for this properly, both according to FASB guidelines and according to IRS guidelines.
Yeah, we'll be happy to connect, Nadia, inshallah.
Thanks.
Was there any other question? I think Seema.
No, it's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sister Ola, there's one question in the chat about how can I get login to the portal for MIFNA endowment? Who do I contact?
Okay, if that's from Sister Aniza or Sister Hasna, I will connect also offline with you for login issues. We can connect you to the Turner Financial Group's technical support, and they can help you do that. If there was an initial there was like for all endowments, I believe on the 12th or the 13th of the month, we set out login information for all accounts. But it was a restricted time. It had like 24-hour, you had a 24-hour window to log in with that information. If you didn't, that may be the reason why you're having trouble logging in. You can still try to go on that link and use the forgot password option and see if it'll let you regenerate a temporary password. So you can try that on your own right away. But if that doesn't work or you're still a little bit lost, we can reinitiate the login for you.
Yeah, Ola, I never received the link. Aniza did, so she was able to log in. My question is, can more than one person from an organization have the login credentials?
Yeah, Scott, do you mind if I bounce that question to you? And there was actually a related question on if you can have like a read-only login, like if an organization had an accountant and they wanted to give them just read-only access. So can you have multiple logins and can you have a read-in only access?
Yes and yes. And honestly, almost I'm trying to think of like the portal for the client level portal, which is obviously what I just demoed, is read only. I'm trying to think. There isn't any action you really have the ability to take there. So it is just strictly a read only portal anyway. Obviously, all of the login you have where you see everybody's, obviously there is more. It's more than just read only, but for the client portal, it is. So sorry, the short answer is yes and yes.
Okay, thank you, Scott. We'll connect offline, Sister Hasna, to make sure you get a login as well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I also saw a question came through, and the question reads that are real estate investment trust or REITs, also known as, are they going to be part of the investment philosophy or universe? To help address this is that we still go through the same process when it comes to doing the filtering. And obviously, we have our proprietary filtering system. And real estate investment trust, for the most part, will be included in our universe as long as they don't over leverage themselves within our standards. And to my knowledge, most real estate investment trust company, they do have margin or leverage over 30%. But if we do see fit that they provide some value, for example, a lot of real estate the REITs, they're in the mid-cap value space. And so for that particular category, we do our filtering. We also do the top-down approach. And if they do come up within the universe that I sent to Faman to do the filtering, and they pass or fail, and then that will be the end result. So I really don't have a final say because we have to stick to the rules and processes. So sometimes it might be there, and sometimes, but in most cases, from my experience, that they're usually not in there due to the use of leverage. They use a ton of leverage, very much so. And so hopefully I have addressed those questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And the team, Andrew, myself, Turner Financial, and Andalus Capital, we manage, as I said, close to 35 accounts. Whenever you have any question, concern, to learn the best practices, what other organizations are doing, please call me, email me. I'd love to chat with you without mentioning our other endowments names. At least we can coach you, guide you, and advise you how other organizations are doing, which you are not doing. Please feel free to email me. I'll schedule a call.
Thank you so much for extending that offer one more time, Brother Bodhi. Thank you everyone for staying, I know, a little bit longer, so I want to respect everyone's time and let everyone go. Thank you so much again for taking this time to connect. And if there are questions that come up later, feel free to email them. Hopefully this is a continuing conversation. Hopefully we'll see everyone else again and more who weren't able to join today, January 9th, and we'll confirm the date and the time for our next meeting. Thank you everyone for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Salam alaikum.